Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be the first installment of a new series I'm going to be doing. Mm, So, let me get this out of here. Sure, I don't like ads. So, I'm going to start out with the standings for the three currently active leagues, starting with the MLS. As in the Eastern Conference, Philadelphia is the only team with a playoff berth so far. They lead the conference with 60 points. And CF Montreal is in second place at 52. Both New York teams are currently in the top four, with the Red Bulls at 47 and New York City at 45. Uh, rounding out the current state, Orlando at 42, Columbus at 40, and New England at 38. On the outside looking in right now, we have Cincinnati at 38 points, Miami at 36 points, Toronto at 34 points, Atlanta at 33, Charlotte at 32, which is actually a tie with Chicago, and DC with 26. So you may be wondering, what's this point system? So if we look at the top, Philadelphia has a 17-4-9 record. That's how they got how many points they got. But as for tiebreakers here, Charlotte has tiebreaker er, because they have basically more wins, so to speak. But another factor could be the goals for. They have 34 as opposed to Chicago's 28. Looking in the Western Conference, LAFC is the only one with a playoff berth at 60 points, winning 19, 7, and 3. He followed by Austin with 51, Dallas with 46, Nashville at 45. Rounding out the safe is Minnesota at 44, Salt Lake at 42, and Portland at 42. Who not only has Salt Lake won more games, means that's pretty much the only thing going for them. That's why they got tiebreaker. On the outside looking in right now, the Galaxy have won 39, 9 points. Seattle got 36, Vancouver with 34, Colorado with 33. Kansas City has tiebreaker by having played just one more game. And that's probably how Colorado got it. San Jose is also at 30 points, played one less, also won fewer games. Followed by Houston with 29 points. Nothing exciting going on. Now, baseball is where things are going to get interesting because there are actually some games going on as I'm recording this. But I want to take a look at the wild card race for this one in particular. There's some interesting stuff going on right now. In the American division, well, American League, I should say. The Houston Astros lead at 86 and 48 in general and in the West, with the Yankees at 80 and 54 leading the East. And we have a tie for first between the Cleveland Guardians and the Minnesota Twins at 68 and 64. There's gonna be some tiebreaker methods that's going on. The Twins and Yankees are playing as of this recording, so that can change. And we'll see what happens. Currently in the wild card is Seattle Mariners at 76-58, the Tampa Bay Rays at 74-58, and the Toronto Blue Jays, believe it or not, at 73-59. And then from there, we have teams on the outside looking in. The Oakland Athletics are here at dead last in the conference at 50-85. They're 5 games away from being eliminated it from the contention, as well as being the first team from the league to be eliminated. The National League is not that bad. The Dodgers lead at 92-41 and for the West and the league. The New York Mets lead the East at 85-50, and the St. Louis Cardinals lead the Central at 79-55. Wildcard teams are currently the Atlanta Braves at 84-51, the San Diego Padres at 74-61, and the Philadelphia Phillies at 73-61. Everyone else is on the outside looking in. The Washington Nationals are in dead last at 47-87 and are 3 games away from being the first team both in the National League and in MLB in general to officially be eliminated from the playoffs. Now moving on to the NFL, it is officially time for the regular season to start. As we go over the 2022 to Week 1 schedule. Well, kicking off on NBC on September 8th is Bills versus Rams. And that one can go either way. A, I'll save my predictions for the main event. And we got Saints versus Falcons on Fox at 1 for the September 11th games. Shocker, 21st anniversary. 1 p.m. Browns versus Panthers on CBX. Niners versus Bears on Fox. Bengals versus Steelers on CBS. Eagles versus Lions on Fox. Colts versus Texans on CBS. Dolphins versus Patriots on CBS. Ravens versus Jets on CBS. And Jaguars versus Commanders on Fox. 425 slate Giants versus Titans on Fox. Chiefs versus Cardinals on CBS. Raiders versus Chargers on CBS. And Packers versus Vikings on Fox. Sunday night is Buccaneers versus Cowboys. And Monday Night Football is going to be Broncos versus Seahawks. So, we're going to play a couple of predictors. College football is officially back. If I could get this out of here, I am going to predict the ACC for the year. Here, so basically, we are officially at week 1 of the season for the ACC, and the Tar Heels played twice already in this first week alone. So has Florida State. So to clarify, this first week, Florida State won against the Kansas. UNC beat up Florida A&M. Pittsburgh beat West Virginia. Wake Forest beat VMI. Old Dominion beat up Virginia Tech. And then Duke beat up Temple. North Carolina barely hold on against Appalachian State. Rutgers won against Boston College. NC State managed to win against East Carolina. Virginia managed to beat Richmond. Miami, Florida managed to beat Bethune Cookman. Wasn't even close. So Syracuse beat up Louisville, and Florida State won against LSU. So, there's one game left in the week. Clemson versus Georgia Tech. I'm gonna take the Tigers for this one. In week 2 is Louisville versus the Central Florida. We have an ACC team going up against outside of conference. And so it's I kind of like UCF in this situation in here. They're still an overall well-rounded school. Well, UNC versus Georgia State. There is no such thing as a tie in college football, so something has to give. I think UNC starts out 3-0. Duke goes up against Northwestern. I think they pull away another. Southern Mississippi versus Miami, Florida. The Hurricanes are gonna take this one just because you can see how the standings change over time. Wake Forest versus Vanderbilt. Uh, I don't know how Vanderbilt is doing, so I'm gonna have to go with Wake Forest. I think NC State's gonna win against Charleston Southern, and because we're talking a no contest. Furman versus Clemson. Tigers all the way. That's a school I never heard of before. Tennessee versus Pittsburgh. Oh man, I have no idea. I want to say Pittsburgh, but I don't think they'll be able to go far and have a. And we'll get to why in a little bit. Virginia versus Illinois. I think Virginia's going to take this one. Western Carolina versus Georgia Tech. Western Carolina is not in this conference. Syracuse versus UConn. I'm going to take Syracuse mainly because UConn is currently in a collapse. Boston College versus Virginia Tech. The Matt Ryan School. Oh, that's going to be lovely. I'm going to take Boston College in this situation. I don't know who's on these rosters. I just going with who I think is going to win. Florida State and Louisville. The Cardinals are going to go 0-3 to start the year. I just don't see it happening. Virginia Tech is their first win of the year against Wolford College. I like Syracuse in this situation over Purdue. Virginia versus Old Dominion. Old Dominion shocked people. Well, believe it or not. I'm going to go with the shocker again. Virginia does not finish the year undefeated. Ole Miss shocked some people. I think they shock again. Liberty versus Wake Forest. I see Wake Forest going to be here. North Carolina A&T. I would prefer Duke in this situation. NC State versus Texas Tech. So the thing with NC State is that from what I've seen up to this point, They can be inconsistent. Same with Texas Tech. This is a toss-up. I'm going to lean towards Texas Tech. Maine versus Boston College. I think Boston College pulls this one away. Pittsburgh pulls one over Western Michigan. Clemson, yeah. Miami, yeah, pretty much. Then West Virginia versus Virginia Tech at the Battle of the Virginias. Uh, but the actual Battle of Virginia is Virginia Tech versus Virginia. I would assume. I'll take Virginia Tech in this one. Virginia versus Syracuse. No undefeated season for them. I kind of like Florida State over Boston College. They've been kind of sucky. Duke's going to win easily over Kansas. For those of you that don't know, the Jayhawks have been infamous for losing a lot of games. They suck. NC State, I would prefer them. Pittsburgh gets one over Rhode Island. Georgia Tech versus UCF. Again, I like UCF in this situation. I like Miami here. Notre Dame. Remember, her ACC is under contract where they play everybody in Notre Dame. And Notre Dame's pretty good. I think they end the undefeated season for North Carolina. I would like Louisville in this situation. Clemson, they're on a rebound year. Here and then we get some divisional matches. We got an Atlantic division and a coastal division. Hence the name ACC. It's a very early alpha currently implemented with NFL tiebreakers. I mean, it makes sense, because we'll get the NFL in a little bit. I just like Boston College better in this situation. Clemson, yeah, they're going to get that one. Duke over Virginia, I'm not so sure if that's going to happen. Duke's going to not have an undefeated season. Florida State and Wake Forest. Florida State's somewhat good, but they're at this point they're on the collapse now. Pittsburgh and Georgia Tech. I don't see Georgia Tech being good. Wagner and Syracuse, I'll always go for that. I think Virginia Tech will get this one. Moving on to week 6. Clemson gets silver, Boston College. I'm going with standard stereotypes right now. Duke is. I say Georgia Tech gets the upset. This one can go either way. I think NC State pulls it off. Virginia Tech and Pittsburgh. I say this comes to an end. UNC, we're going to lose to Miami. Louisville and Virginia. I can think Louisville. Army versus Wake Forest. Army's pretty decent, but I gotta go with Wake Forest since it's not an ACC match. This is where things start to narrow up. The classic Battle of the Carolinas. I say that UNC gets one over Duke this year. Clemson, it's gonna remain undefeated. No surprise. Syracuse, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to start going to free fall. I don't think Miami finishes the season undefeated. Sorry, guys. I would have to say Virginia falls. Clemson's gonna maintain on top. Ugh, this is a tough one. Miami's pretty good, though. Pittsburgh. They can make noise still. I think Boston College takes this one. Virginia Tech and NC State is now against each other. I just don't see NC State just quite yet. I am going to take Florida State over Virginia Tech. Notre Dame is still pretty good. I think this is around schedule for Pittsburgh. I feel like Miami would get one over, but they need to start losing some games soon. Louisville's been known for upsets. Boston College because UConn's in a collapse. I would take Duke over Boston College. Wake Forest could possibly get this one. We're in collapse time right now. I would take Florida State here. Virginia's not that great. I would say UNC can get it. Cardinals here. Take Georgia Tech. Clemson gets one over Notre Dame. They're the only team that can really do it. Clemson is still having a rebound. Say maybe Duke. Yeah, Boston College and also Miami. I would say Syracuse here in this situation. I would say Pitt would get this one. Wake Forest. I think UNC is going to at least secure a bowl game. There's no way you beat Clemson. Pittsburgh's still on a downfall right now. Georgia Tech's not that great. I would take Virginia here. Louisville's still with the upsets. Hey, Syracuse here. Notre Dame is still pretty good. Week 13, we have another battle of the North Carolinas. I think NC State takes this one. Battle of Florida. I am biased against instigators of Florida State. I think Syracuse is not gonna get over Boston College. Clemson remains undefeated like always. I'm gonna take Wake Forest over Duke. A bunch of 7 and win teams. Georgia is still a strong team as always. Kentucky, maybe. I'll go with Louisville just for the 500 stuff. Then Miami over Pitt. So my standings go after 13 weeks. My current, so my overall standings after a 13-week season. Clemson would be undefeated, 12-0. Boston College finishes 7-5. NC State third at 7-5, followed by Syracuse at 7-5. Florida State at 6-4. Or Louisville at 500. Then Wake Forest at 7-5. Finishes last in the division. Whereas Miami and UNC are at the top two. Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh, Georgia Tech, Duke, and West Virginia. That's surprising for me. So, time for me to start predicting the 2022 NFL season. I am only gonna go week by. I am only gonna do week one for the time being on who I think is gonna win. And you know what? Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. No, that's too much. Oh, whatever. Just don't worry about them. So, I am going to go in the order of the games themselves. So, just for simplicity's sake, starting with the Rams versus the Bills. Honestly, this one could go either way. Hey, do the Rams win or do the Bills win? I think it's gonna be too close to call and it ends up in a tie. They Our first tie of the season goes there. And you get out of here. Alright. I am now gonna move onto the Sunday games now. Now for the CBS early stretch. We have the Steelers versus Bengals. I'm gonna go with the Bengals here. Patriots versus the Dolphins. I'll take Miami here. Or if they don't win against New England in this match, they'll win against New England later in the season as they'll split the series. Ravens versus Jets is an easy Baltimore victory. The the Browns and the Panthers. I'm going with Carolina on this one. When Deshaun Watson is starting his 11 game suspension, and Baker Mayfield starting, Jacoby Brissett starting, and this is gonna be a shootout from the Panthers. And finally, we got the Colts versus the Texans. I like the Colts here in this scenario. Fox early. We got the 49ers versus the Bears. 49ers live and die with Trey Lance now. They made that official, and I think they stick it out here. Eagles versus Lions. I'm going with my Eagles here. Lions still need some key pieces before they're ready to compete. Saints versus Falcons. And I'm going to go with the Saints here. They're more well rounded and suck less. And we got the tank ball that is the Jaguars versus the Commanders. There's, as much as I hate to say it, I think the Commanders win this one, and the Jaguars end up losing the game and winning the tank bowl. CBS late. Chiefs versus Cardinals. I like the Chiefs in this situation, and because they're the better coached team in general. The Raiders versus the Chargers. I'm gonna go with the Chargers to start the year. It's a new system. It needs some time to get kicked in for the Raiders. That's why there are gonna be a few bumps to start. Fox late. Packers versus Vikings. I like the Packers here. Er, Just like with the Raiders, they got a new coaching system coming in, and it needs some time to get underway. Giants versus Titans. I like the Titans in this situation. And since they've beaten the Sean McDermott squads before, They can do it again. Sunday night football, Bucks versus Cowboys. I would prefer the Bucks here, despite their bad offensive line right now. This is Tom Brady. He's gonna throw a dime and win it all. Broncos versus Seahawks on Monday Night Football. I'm gonna go with the Broncos here. Here, here. This is a Russell Wilson revenge match, and he's gonna ball out against his former team now that he has an actual offensive line and the actual defense for the first time in who knows how long. But these are my official predictions and for week 1 of the NFL season, and that will also be the end of the video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. See you all back here for about next week.